I'm CCP Svartol, Senior Web Developer for the Web Services team or department. Web Services is the organizational unit within CCP that handles all of our external facing websites and basically just manages and maintains them and deploys new ones. This presentation will be a high-level overview of the external websites that we maintain. So, are you guys all web developers? Could I have a show of hands?
Oh.
All right, most of you then. Okay, so we have 4 teams in total in web services. I'm part of team Umizumi. We have 5 software developers, 1 QA analyst, 1 graphic designer, 1 producer, and here we are. Here's our team logo. And if you're good at math, you will notice that there's one character portrait missing. That's Fannar, stand-up Fannar. He's new with the team. He just started this week, so if you see him around tonight, make sure to give him an extra special welcome and a hug, maybe. Yeah. And yes, our main responsibility within the team is to deploy new websites and maintain our current ones. We have quite a lot of websites, and so we need to keep vigilant by simplifying technical infrastructure. There's a lot of maintenance and overhead with the number of websites we have going, so we need to keep up to date on the technical infrastructure as well. So, and we also want to keep a consistent look and feel to our websites, like having a common header on all the sites with a single sign-on feature. So if you sign in to one website, you're signed into all of them. And we have our design principles and guidelines that our graphics designers use to maintain the consistent look and feel. And this is used to basically continue to improve our web presence for CCP. We have multiple websites and backend services and databases, but I'm curious if you realize how many would you think? Would anyone care to guess how many external public websites we have running? Sorry? 15 or 50? 50. Right? Does anyone? A dozen. Well, it's in between, but I was going through the list on our wiki, internal wiki, and it's just for this team, it's almost 20 sites. Then we have other teams that have each their own site, so it's probably around 30 sites that we're maintaining. And these sites are some of the larger websites in Iceland compared to the most popular sites. Our traffic numbers are up there. So we need to keep up on that. If I run quickly through our most popular websites, we have eveonline.com. That's aimed at players unfamiliar with the game. It's it has conceptual content, asking questions like who do you want to be in the game, and helping you make decisions on how you want to start playing EVE Online. It also has video trailers, wallpapers, concept art, expansion history, and a fancy-looking WebGL star map with live game data. So you can filter the site with kills or political standings from within the game. It's all live. And the data is accessible publicly, so you can use that in your own third-party applications. We encourage you to do that. And there's a ship viewer as well. All the models and shaders are there, publicly available. So you can use that in your own sites as well. Then there are the forums. That's our most popular site in terms of traffic. That's the main communication link we have with our players. Our community team actively monitors, moderates, and participates on the forums. Are you all active on the forums, or? Show of hands? Okay, good. I'll come back to the forums later. with some more details on those. Then we have EveGate, that's our hook into the live game. It has character profile data, in-game contacts, Eve mail, the calendar, and features specific only to the web, like broadcasts, which are popular with some corporations, not all of them, but they're still being used quite a bit. And then there's community, that's our most active site. And that's our main platform for communicating the latest happenings within CCP and Eve to our players. There are news channels, dev blogs, patch notes, RSS feeds, CSM voting and information, volunteer sites, fan sites, tournaments, game fiction, backstory, knowledge base, support issues, feed-fed notification, API keys, bug reports. That's basically our largest and most active sites in terms of like traffic and, not traffic, but content updates from CCP, let's say. And Evilopedia is the standard wiki site. You should all be familiar with that format. Lots and lots of content, multiple game guides, and of course the item database. And trial.eveonline.com is bringing in the new players. There are a lot of players that come through the trials, but also a very popular option for bringing in new players is the buddy program, where active and more veteran players, they can send invites to their friends. And if they end up signing up for the game, they are rewarded with extra game time. And Fanfest, that's the reason we're all here. Inactive most of the year, but around Fanfest we see quite a bit of traffic. Basic information about flights, tickets, how to attend, hotel schedule, a photo gallery. I encourage you to look at the photo gallery. There's awesome pictures in there. And then the Eve Universe site, eve.com. I quite like this site. It's a high-level concept site with a nicely presented interactive timeline of all of the major events in the Eve universe. It's encompassing all of our IPs. And we also have sites for Dust 514. We have general information on there, backstory on the game, weapons, drop suits, corporations, and more. And standard content for like videos, wallpapers, concept art, screenshots, and all of that. If you log in, you will notice that you're authenticated against your Sony account, and you can actually create your own Dust character on the site. And there's also a support ticket system for technical help in there. We also maintain the Dust forums. Those share the same code base as the Eve forums, and we can quite easily, through just configuration parameters during deployment, we change the theming and skinning and the feature set by enabling and disabling features and configuration. So that's a nice system we have. And our newest site, we launched that during the Thursday keynote for Valkyrie. How do you like Valkyrie? When is the playtest for the players? Is that today? It's already running? Yeah. Since yesterday, all right. Have anybody had a chance to play it? Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm personally very excited for Valkyrie. And our corporate site, ccpgames.com, press releases, general PR, and of course, /jobs, ccpgames.com/jobs. If you have an interest for applying for a position, there are lots of open positions, so I encourage you to look for something that might fit you. And to support all of these sites, we have numerous backend systems and legacy systems that we maintain. Content management systems, game data endpoints, content delivery networks, internal content services, defect management systems, multiple databases. And usually what we see there is how our screen looks day to day. Not that exciting, but I hope the sites themselves look more exciting. And then we have other teams from web services. Like I told you before, there's team blah blah blah. They do the single sign-on and authentication for the websites and the game. Team special circumstances, they're doing the launcher and the launcher backend and other things. Team Mammon, they handle account management, which is secure.evoline.com. And to go over recent projects that we've been doing lately, we just finished on the community side, the CSM elections. The voting phase was conducted using a single transferable vote electoral system. And then after the voting ended, we used the right system to calculate rank and the results of each candidate. CCP Veritas is the brains behind the, well, he's not the brains behind the system, but he's doing all the calculations and the results. I made extra sure to not have any knowledge of how the CSM election turns out. I don't want to inadvertently spoil anything, so don't try to ask me. Stay tuned for the keynote later today if you want to know more. I would also like to thank the members of the CSM themselves, if anyone's here. No, but, sorry? Okay. If you hang out in the CSM chat, you might have been helping out during the testing. We had slight issues with the system, but they offered a lot of help with verifying that the system was working as intended and even offered fixes themselves. And then there was the New 8 and Open, a mini alliance of tournaments of sorts with a cash prize using a double elimination bracket. And having been around esports myself for the past 15 years or so, I knew the difficulty of presenting double elimination brackets in an online format. So I made extra sure that we got on top of that, and I'm really proud how that turned out. It's all responsive, all optimized for mobile devices with real-time updates from crash data from within the game, so I was quite proud of that. And we did a German blog for the community side. We're constantly updating layouts and template pages. And for evoline.com, mostly has been expansion work. Twice a year, there's an expansion coming. And we do themed content pages introducing all of the new features being deployed. But if you were at the EVE keynote yesterday, you may have heard that the release cadence is going to change for that. We're moving to 10 releases a year rather than 2 releases per year. And we still have to work out how we're going to present that on the web, but we'll figure something out. And stuff that we're doing for the forums, we're constantly doing minor feature work, just maintaining the forums, content updates, adding new forums, or removing old ones. And you do talk a lot on the forums, so you do keep our DBAs on their toes, constantly doing tuning to store procedures and tables. And then recently we did the monument name finder. Have you been to the monument at all? Yep. Found your name? Yep. That's good. CCP Ra, he pulled an all-nighter to get that site up and running before the monument reveal. And we actually overlooked the monument from our office. So while Hilmar was giving his speech announcing the URL for the new monument finder, he was still coding on his computer. Quite stressful. But it wound up going up an hour later, and it all worked out fine. And there's the Valkyrie site we've been working on. I showed you that before. And then, most importantly, we've been working on a forums update. It's basically a rework of the forums. We're optimizing it for mobile. If you've tried browsing the current forums on your mobile device, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's all going to be responsive, so it will work on any device and any screen without sacrificing features, often otherwise limited by screen width. And this required a complete rewrite of the front end, which we've been working on. And during this rework, we're also separating EveKit from the forums. Main reasoning behind this is having a logical separation of the applications. and eventually having all our forums, Eve, Dust, Valkyrie, having that under one site and unifying our code base, and most importantly, simplifying the user experience and the browsing context for the user. When we've separated the forums from EveGate, we will have in-forum character profiles. Won't be linking to EveGate anymore, and we'll have the latest post and statistics and more. And the forum settings page will be moved to the forums as well. And that's already live on the Dust forums, right? The forum settings page, yes. Since the Dust forums are not connected to EveGate at all, we've been using sometimes the Dust forums to try out these sort of changes beforehand. It's working out well for us. And we're also simplifying the layout, grouping of similar functions, simplifying the user experience. We're moving to human time away from Eve time. We believe that's nicer on the eyes and your brain as well. We're using informative icons rather than just hard numbers and lots of them. So you'll have more condensed information and more contextual information that's easier to absorb. There'll be a new notification page. It's already up on the Dust forums if you'd like to see that. And we'll be supporting Markdown for signature and posts. Thank you. And a quick sneak peek. It's a very early concept of the forums. We're using the Dust layout. It doesn't make that much of a difference for us with the theming. That's really easy to replace, but this is a very early concept of the forums overview. No real data, but you should be able to imagine what it will look like based on this. If you look closely, you can see the updated presentation layout, but yes, don't look too closely. This is not how it will end up. We have many ideas already on how to improve this. And this is the thread layout concept. You can see here how we're using human time instead of Eve time. Also displaying thread created time, which we found was not available on the current forums in the thread overview, so you'd have to click on the thread and look at the first post to see when the thread was started. And you can see that we're using icons more next to the numbers to give context, and really easier to quickly scan through the page and knowing what's going on. But again, this is not final, but should give you an idea of what we're aiming for. And also be aware that there is no release date yet. This is quite an undertaking, lots of factors that need to be considered and weighed before we can deploy it. And look for a dev block in the not too distant future.
Yeah, so what we'll probably start out with doing this in phases. So we'll probably start out with the separation of EveGate and forums first, before moving into like responsive layouts. And there should be a dev blog on that sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the best I can offer is soon, TM. I mean, yeah, but we're actively working on this. So yeah, I just wanted to show the current forum. There are a lot of numbers there. No real context. If you scroll down and you lose the header, it's just a spreadsheet of numbers. Maybe you already like the spreadsheets, but you like it. Okay, so no new forums or? All right. Yeah, but this is what we're going to aim for. And that's really all I have for now. Are there any questions?
Yeah, we're opening up for QA now because we don't have a roundtable, so we thought we'd change this into a roundtable and a presentation, combine it. So shoot away. By the way, we should probably state our names. I'm CCP Byzantine. You haven't got a dev name yet? Fannar for now. This is CCP Pearl Jive, right? Sebastian, you are? here. All right, so any questions?
What do you use as your backend for all this? Like Django or Python something or what?
I think everything, yeah, everything is in .NET. Question on that?
Yeah, you said you were separating EveGate from the forms. Does that mean EveGate is going to maintenance mode, or does that mean you're ramping it up to do something new?
Well, EveGate is already in kind of a maintenance mode, but yeah, we're not really like, there are no plans to do anything drastically new on EveGate. We haven't been adding any massive features on it. We like the new character selection came in the other day and SSO, but there's no like grand plans for any new features on EveGate currently.
Any chance of you fixing EveGate so that links and nails actually show up?
Yes, that's we have a bunch of we have kind of a long list of bugs on EveGate that we need to get to, and I'm fairly confident. We've been doing Svartholm has been doing a bunch of work on EveGate lately. We've been updating our deployment procedures, so it'll be easier to get changes out faster. And so we are ramping up to do some like a good chunk of maintenance work on EveGate in the next, months. I guess you first.
I've been told that the WebGL library that is on GitHub, on your GitHub account, is under your control. How far down is it in your backlog? Because I have a pull request open there since 9 months now, which is
So CCP Rarara and what's his name again? David. They are basically the creators and maintainers of that. And I guess I will just have to punch CCP Rarara in the shoulder and tell him to take a look at the GitHub repo. They're not like very actively working on it, but it's being like maintained a bit, I think. So I will just basically, guys, remind me to kick CCP Rarara for that. Another question? Yeah.
So you mentioned there's probably 30 sites. Can you give estimates of numbers of traffic and what you guys do to get ready for surges?
Well, I don't have exact traffic numbers in my head now. I can tell you kind of by popularity, like the forums are most popular. I think community right after that. I believe trial is somewhere on the top, because we run all, if we're running ad campaigns on the internet, we direct the traffic there. Yeah, the wiki is also up there. And there's basically, for searches, we're running our sites in 2 or 3 server clusters, and basically those servers are most of the time just idling, like there's no load on them, so they're able to handle moderate spikes. But if you remember, like the countdown we did for the Eve Monument announcement, community went down after that for a few minutes, so we're not able to handle basically massive spikes, just like moderate spikes. We've been working on both our team and the operations team operations team are moving into more of like a architecture where we can more easily scale up and down, like private clouds and stuff like that. And we've been looking into running our stuff in the cloud also, because it's annoying to not be able to handle just unlimited load. But the way it is now, we handle most of our specs by like our server.
You host all of that in Iceland?
No, it's all hosted in London.
You mentioned that you have to rewrite the forums code. Are you using a different technology, or is it the same in front end?
It's basically the same view. You know, it's all .NET. So it's basically the same view technology, like the views are in the same technology. So there's no major change to the technologies we're using. We're just the CSS and HTML and JavaScript will be more modern, basically. Yep.
I think that's on a 4.5, or you
Well, mostly 4.5, some are on 4, and some things that are in maintenance mode are 3.5. So basically a range from 3 to 4.5.
just running like Razor, or?
Depends. We're Razor on our latest stuff, yes, but some other stuff is in what's it called? ASP.NET thing. I like the forums.
Do you see the proliferation of websites as a good thing or a bad thing? Or I mean, I don't know if you guys are making the decisions to add new ones, but it seems like there's an awful lot of them, and they, you know, you create a new one, and that one gets some different look, and that look eventually migrates to the other ones, and it seems like it's kind of confusing. I mean, if I were not an Eve player, I might not know that I shouldn't go to eve.com, I should go to eveonline.com, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. So up to a certain point, like the old eveonline.com that we used to have up until like 2 years ago, I thought that was too much of a mixture of everything in there. So I saw the separation of eveonline and community as a good thing, because it allows veteran players like you to just skip all of the nonsense on eveonline that you already know. Just get straight to business, because most of the time you just like, you want to, you know, whatever you want to do, you want to read a devlog, you want to create an API key or something like that. So it like allows you to get straight to business. But at the same time, we need to be careful. We haven't been doing that well enough, I think, to be able to like link them all together in a sufficient manner. So if you are an Eve player and you want to do something and you can't remember and some URL or something, so you just go to eveonline.com, and how like you can't find your thing. So it's kind of been an issue in my opinion, that we aren't doing a good enough job to link stuff together. But yeah, in general, like you know, if you know, getting stuff out of your way depending on what you are doing is, I think, probably a good idea. But we need to make it clear though, like where everything is. So answer your question or a question or not?
Yeah, do you guys have any plans in the works to do any new web services, or new web services, I guess is the best term. Like, I know a while back a fitting tool got tossed around. Are things like that, does that flow through your team? Is that stuff you're looking at?
Yeah, we have all kinds of all sorts of ideas on what we want to do, and especially on community stuff for existing veteran players. It's just a matter of bandwidth of the team, basically, because we're a really small team with a lot of things to do. So we're just trying to get by. And if we get time, we do stuff like that. So an example of that is the forums. Like we felt we needed to make the forums more accessible on mobile. Like we have like a rather significant amount of our traffic on the forum is mobile, and they weren't really not just from like a usability perspective, like in not being able to handle small screens, but also in the sense of they're loading a lot of stuff. And if you're on 3G and your mobile CPU, there's a huge DOM and there's a lot of stuff to load. Like, so stuff like that, they're like a lot faster after the rewrite. We've been like running it on our local machines. They're like a lot faster. So from that perspective, so forums is an example of that. Questions? Yeah.
Are you guys looking? I don't know if you guys are already using various client-side JavaScript frameworks like Bootstrap or any of those sort of things. Are you looking into those? Like those? Think you'll be using that sort of stuff in the future?
Yes, we're definitely looking into it. We're not using any of the like large frameworks now, like Angular or Backbone or anything like that. We're using Twitter Bootstrap, the CSS framework for like various stuff here and there. But we're not using any of the big client-side JavaScript libraries currently. But we're always basically, if there's a project that pops up that would be an ideal candidate, we would go for it. But we're not using any of them right now. Basically because we like don't have any need for it currently on any of our stuff. We maybe write ourselves some stuff instead. Question up there?
Do you guys have anything to do with the REST API
The only thing we have to do with it is we write against it. Like our stuff is using that, but we don't, write Crest or know anything about it. We just talk to Crest the way you would, like through public Crest, basically. With the exception that we have more privileges. Our apps are internal apps, so we have more privileges.
Has that been a useful interface to work with, working with Crest for your own sites?
Yes, for like the Dust Card Creator, that's just talking through Crest, and I quite like it. I am a fan of the RESTful APIs. So in my opinion, most of Crest was gotten right. We had good people in designing that stuff, and I think it was well done. There's some nuances, but in general, I quite like it. So yeah. Yeah.
As you guys are writing against Crest as well, what do you guys see as your intersection between like third-party tools that we might be writing and what you guys might be providing on the website? Given, if you had an infinite amount of time, how do you see that intersection looking?
Yeah, if we had an infinite amount of time, let's see. I personally I think we're missing, our web servers are missing a bunch of stuff that you guys are helping us out with, basically. We're always like seeing cool stuff out in the community and we're thinking like, damn, why we should have done that. But we just don't have infinite amount of time. But I definitely like and I think we should support, in my opinion, we should support third-party developers much more, provide them with many more interfaces because they're doing fantastic things that we would like to do but don't have time to. If we had infinite amount of time and infinite manpower, I would like to crush you all with our greatness. Right? So you wouldn't have to write anything, it would all be perfect. But that's not going to happen. So, yeah, I see third-party developer community very valuable. And I wish we would provide more open APIs to them.
What are some of the challenges you've run into working with Crest?
Well, the biggest challenge is something that hopefully will never concern you. It's when Crest was completely closed, like they've a few open endpoints now, but when Crest was completely closed and in its early stages, we were working, we were writing stuff against it, like the Dust site, card creator, and there were some, basically, the stability of it. We were writing stuff, and because of the Dust client and Dust server were running at 100 kilometers an hour, we had some issues with it. It happened. It almost happened once that a new version of the Dust server went out that completely broke everything that we wrote because they just changed the whole interface without telling us about it. So that was a problem, and I was like yelling at people here and there over the water cooler. But hopefully you guys will never run into that, because the public stuff should be much more stable than the internal stuff, and the versioning of endpoints it's much clearer now than it was then. People were just changing endpoints without versioning them. There's a fairly good versioning support in versioning of endpoints in Crest, so it should be backwards compatible for a very long time, even if you ask for like if they ask for the current resource, maybe I should mention that as well, that you need to be careful in working with Crest to ask for the stuff, ask for the right stuff to use content type and accept headers correctly with the correct versions you want. So like there's a huge MIME type with the application crest something, I can't remember it, and then version 1, version 2. Be careful of using that and using content type and accept headers correctly.
And also, there's just not enough of Crest. We love working against Crest, but we need more endpoints to expose more data. We would love to do more with stuff from in the game. So.
I think that is heard by most people and third-party developers.
Yes.
What would you guys like to expose? I mean, is it just stuff like, I know you have like a ticker of this much stuff was sold here or something to kind of make things seem like a more live world, but what would you like to?
We'd be interested in just putting more in-game functionality to the web. I shouldn't be talking about this because it's not a priority with our stakeholders, but yeah, we would like more in-game features on the web.
Yeah, we in the web team are eager to get chat and all kinds of stuff on the web, but we have limited time, and it requires a lot of Eve server work that unfortunately we are not too good at in our team.
Yeah, it's not our thing.
It takes a while to ramp up to be a good Eve server programmer, and I believe we just don't have the time to be good Eve server programmers and good web programmers as well at the same time. We have tried though. Sebastian here, he wrote a bunch of Eve server code for the ticker on the front page of Eve Online and Star Map. How did that go, Sebastian?
it's there. I mean,
It's there. Okay.
You guys have any hobby projects that you're working on right now, like fan sites or stuff you do in free time?
Do you mean outside the work? Or?
Yeah, outside of work. That's 10% time or something like that.
Yeah, we are supposed to get 10% time, but we don't really use it because we're so busy. Well, I can only speak for myself when I say like I don't have any substantial hobby projects, but I like to play around with stuff here and there that never like goes anywhere. When I'm just if I want to try out a new JavaScript framework or whatever, I throw something up and then see how it works and then just don't do much more about it. Like it never turns into anything. But yeah, I have some projects on the side to believe.
I once created a mobile app for EveGate since I had full access to the service layer backend for EveGate. I created the basic functionality for that. But that was a fun exercise, but nothing more than that.
Do you guys?
I'm really interested in learning more about WebGL myself, so I've been doing some work just to try some 3D modeling, stuff like that, but still just learning more. So maybe I'll keep you guys posted when I get something done.
And I think we're out of time. Is that 50 minutes or what time is it?
Now we have like 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, okay, sorry, keep going.
So any questions?
There's a different counter here, sorry.
So maybe we don't need those 5 minutes.
No. No more questions.
No more questions. All right. So then we're good. Thanks, guys, for showing up.
How much did you pay for
I don't know. I don't actually know who handles buying domains. I send an email off in the void sometimes asking if we own some domains, and I usually get the answer back. Yes, we own some domains. So I don't. I have no idea. I guess somebody in like marketing or something knows, but I'm not sure.
Would you migrate from Eve Online to just Eve.com?
Eve.com is thought of as like a high-level concept, or like a concept area spanning all of the Eve universe. So we wouldn't move like Eve Online stuff into Eve.com. We would move like we have now. We have like backstory that applies to Dust, Eve, and Valkyrie, all in there, and we intend to keep that going. So we have like Eve.com is like a hat over everything, and then you have like Eve, Valkyrie, Dust, and Eve Online under that. And we'll probably stay like that. Anything else? No. Yep.
Have you ever considered moving away from .NET?
Yes. We used to be like a hardcore .NET shop, but now, at least for me, I would consider for what I would consider the tool. I think like I would, if presented with a task, I would consider the tool most appropriate for the task. But we do have, like most of our knowledge is in .NET, so it's probably easiest to do stuff in .NET, but some stuff might be more applicable to do in other technologies. So we're open for it, but we're not actively pursuing it. So I guess that's it then. Right, thanks guys for coming. We'll be out on the hallways if you want more.